Welcome. You're listening to Sisters with Purpose Podcast. Welcome back to episode 11 with Sisters with Purpose, where real conversations lead to real growth. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Tamika.
And y'all, we're going to get into it as you already know. So, listen, you saw episode 10 was just a celebration of us reaching the milestone of the 10th episode and us recapping the 9 episodes that we had prior. So hopefully if you weren't able to watch all those 9 episodes, you were able to kind of get an idea. So it's either the quote of the day or scripture verse of the day.
I got a quote for you today. And you know, again, it always goes in alignment with our topic.
That is true.
So our quote today says, "Life doesn't expire at 40, and neither does love. The right connection isn't late, it's arriving in its own time."
That's true. I mean, it's just on purpose, right? So, of course, you all know that this platform is for all of our ladies, you know, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. But of course, you know, we're more going to cater to those who are in our age group, you know, demographics and things like that. So we are going to get into it. We know you guys. I think our most viewed episode was the one about, are you still single or why you're still single?
Y'all all want to be all up in our business.
Y'all want that tea. Okay. But, you know, we just kind of overviewed and highlighted. So this episode, we're just going to kind of give you some of our preferences on how it is with dating, whether it's there or it's not, and just some of the things to look for. So now it is time for Chick Card Conversations. Ting! So we kind of switched this one up from our coffee cup to our Chick Card Conversations because, y'all, I feel like we have been driving Miss Daisy. We've been on the highways.
You talked about us traveling. We have been traveling. She said driving Miss Daisy. We're the only Daisies we've been driving.
That part.
But I think in a couple of our previous episodes, we explained to y'all that we had some travel coming up.
Yes.
And honestly, it's been like back to back to back. Traveling to one state, coming back in the same day, going to another state a day or two later, coming back in the same day, getting on an airplane to go to another state, coming back a few days later. But it's been fun. Like,
it has been. We've been fun. It's been rewarding. We've created memories for a lifetime. And, you know, I mean, do we want to get into it a little bit?
I mean, do you want to share? I want to tell them why you have this hair, too?
Well, I'll tell them even before. You know, one of our first, road trips was we drove to, where my granddaughter was getting dedicated. So it was a baby dedication. So it was so full circle to see my daughter, who now has a daughter. And we were all there, you know, family and friends, just celebrating them, loving on them. And so, you know, that was a fun trip. It was a day trip, y'all. And it was a 6-hour
day trip.
Trip to get to the state
Travel
and back.
Wise. So 12 hours in a day.
Yeah, literally. So, but that was nice and rewarding. And within that same week, my youngest son, the youngest of 3, and the third final and last to get married, got married last week. And I'm telling you, this was the hairstyle. And, you know, if you follow us on any social media, you know, you'll see some highlights of the wedding. And it was just absolutely,
it really was
beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
It was absolutely beautiful to see 2 people who will make a commitment to live a lifetime together.
Yeah.
And just that display of love, you know, when, you know, weddings always give you that fuzzy feeling, but, you know, it's different when you really know the person personally and you get ready to see their next chapter and their next journey.
See them grow up.
Yeah, with somebody that they truly love. So, and I was getting ready to tell you this, but you probably already kind of hear in the background. Hopefully the mic's kind of buffered. My granddaughter is here visiting me. So you won't see her, but you will definitely hear her. She's going to make her voice known. Okay. So watch out for her in years to come.
Yeah, just definitely. Love again. You know, having moments where you can celebrate with family.
Yeah.
Seeing their next chapter. Seeing the little great nieces and nephews and little cousins go through and come spend summers. It's just been a really good weekend. But we know what y'all are here for. We know y'all are here for the topic. Yes. Our topic today is, you heard the quote. Mm-hmm. The timeline is a myth.
Yep.
Dating after your 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
They tried to tell you that if you didn't get married in your 20s or your 30s, or you're not dating in your 20s or your 30s and find your forever person, that it just ain't going to happen. Mm-hmm. But we're here to tell you the timeline is a myth.
It is a myth. And maybe you could talk about it from your standpoint, your standpoint of being, single and, wanting to be in a relationship. But again, when we talked about it in the other episode, the things that you're doing that you want to accomplish and things like that. So, talk about that.
Because when I was younger, I saw relationships in front of me. Whether they were, long-term relationships or whether they were marriages, I saw relationships in front of me. So me as a younger, I'm like, oh, this is going to happen for me young too, right? So I kind of in my head had a timeline, my own personal timeline, that after high school and after college, I wanted to be married in my 20s. I wanted to have my first child by 25, my second child by like 27, and then by 30, I wanted to just be, me and my family just living the life with the white picket fence and the dog,
I was just about to say the house with the white picket fence.
I thought that was the ideal. That was the timeline. Even when you watch TV shows, let's think about, Different World and all the different TV shows, the Jeffersons, you saw couples. I'm like, this is the thing. This is what is supposed to happen. But as I've dated throughout my 20s, as I've dated throughout my 30s, what I found out is I know what I like and what I don't like. I think it was probably in my 20s, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to find my forever person. I have to get married.
Why aren't I in a committed relationship?
And so when I got in my 30s, I saw people around me, my age that I went to school with, getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
But they started in their 20s. And so I'm like, am I behind? Mm-hmm. And then I would go to family events. People like, you ain't married yet? You ain't got no kids?
That's crazy.
And so I started thinking to myself, maybe I just need to stick with one of these relationships so it can happen for me. Mm-hmm. But then when you start doing self-reflection and you know your worth, you decide, no, I want what's best for me. I'm not just going to settle.
Yeah.
So there is a timeline, but it's your own personal timeline. You don't have to let society, friends, or family put a timeline on you to say that, oh, you in your 40s, you stuck in your ways, you ain't never going to get married. You might as well just go. Now, I'm not going to lie. I do like my lifestyle. I don't have any kids and I'm not married and I'm not in a committed relationship. So I can pretty much do what I want. I don't have to think about nobody else's feelings when it comes to that. Yeah. I don't have to check with nobody when I want to book a flight or anything like that. But I do want companionship. So opening yourself up in your 40s is a lot harder than it is in your 20s and your 30s.
So on the flip side with me, I got married early.
Right.
And there were so many people telling me, you're too young to get married. So it's kind of like, do y'all want me to get married at this age, or do you not want me to get married? And, for me, it looked very different because I didn't date in my 20s, 30s, and 40s because I was married. So I didn't know even what that looked like, only from the lens of you.
Right.
And I think, ladies, because, we always hear, well, you need to not really lower your standards, or your standards are very high, or your standards are too high. And I've even heard, now the term that they use of, how high value women.
Oh, yeah.
And high value men, right? And I saw this one podcast where a lady, she was talking, she had a guest, a male guest, and he basically was talking about, what it looks like to date a high value woman, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have all of these, not really a checklist, but a high value woman has expectations. Yep. It's not, you can't expect, a man who doesn't have any goals or doesn't have a solid, just lifestyle to come up to a woman with high expectations and expect that to work.
Right.
And so in our 40s, and that's what we're talking about, we've established a career.
Yeah.
We've established, the things in life that we want, you know, traveling and things like that. And so you have to now, you have to now want to meet someone of that same caliber and have those same interests as you, because you're not 20 anymore. You're not still trying to find your way.
Out. Yeah.
You're already in your groove.
Yeah.
Right? You're already kind of like coasting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do you navigate trying to find your person over 40? And what does that look like? Because there, they say there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Is it though?
It is, but it's the type of fish that's in the sea.
And we don't want no tilapia.
Don't.
We don't. And when you said that, even when you think about, high value women and high value men, and you think about meeting someone that meets your standard, you also have to think financially, because you can meet a high value man, educated, but he don't know how to manage money, or she don't know how to manage money. And I think that's something that I kind of ran into with, my second to last relationship. He was educated, but he didn't know how to manage his finances. I was very good at managing my finances. So I would like talk about things and he would just splurge. And I'm like, but you ain't got that.
Right.
So now we using credit card. And I had to think. We were talking marriage, but I'm like, do I want to go into marriage with someone where I may inherited their debt? And now I have to deal with that. And so I'm like, that was a high value man. But again, there are things that I'm just not going to compromise on or settle on. You're not coming and dating me and you got $100,000 worth of debt. If I'm taking care of my debt, I'm going to need you to come with a plan of wanting to take care of yours.
And I think that's key, right?
Yeah.
With a plan and communicating, because, we don't have it all together, right? But this one right here. But I'm just saying, if you have like the majority of the same values and you're communicating and you're open and you're not hiding anything.
Right.
Don't let us get in a relationship and you finding out you got 3 more kids.
Right.
So it's just those things, that that even for me, it's like, I know, because some of y'all probably want to know, well, is she dating? Because I'm no longer married.
Right.
No, I'm not dating. Have I dated after marriage? Yes.
Yeah. I know you were talking earlier about it being different for you, and you didn't get to date in your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s because you were married. Mm-hmm. You did after, no longer being married. You were able to do some dating.
Right.
And what was your experience with that?
My experience, and I think y'all heard it in the other episode, I was like, this what you've been dealing with?
Trash.
So, and I don't want to say it wasn't, there weren't good moments and good experiences of it, but I think just because I had mentioned, there's so many, there's the ratio of women to men. It's like 4 to 1.
Yeah.
Right. So these men are basically out here just picking and choosing, what they want. And because more so of a woman really wants to be in a committed relationship, like I was saying, a woman, wants to be in that committed relationship. So she puts up with some things. Yeah. And for me, I know my standards, I know my expectations and things like that. And there are some things, just like you said, are non-negotiable and that you're not going to settle for. And so it's been okay. Am I dating currently right now? No, by choice. Right.
Same. Ditto.
Yeah, by choice. And so, it's just navigating, ladies. It's just navigating what you want. And is that person, sharing the same values as you? Is there intentionality?
Yeah.
And
I think you too, at this age, after your 40s, you really want someone you can do life with.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, we're very active. We have a fitness lifestyle. We want to be able to do those things with someone after your 40s. We love to travel. We want to be able to travel with someone. I remember our church had just like a chat and chew for singles. And they asked one of the questions, like, what are your 3 things that you're looking for? And I said, 1, I want someone who's family oriented. That part. I want someone who loves to travel, loves God, but also someone who, if I say, let's go for a run or let's go to the gym, he ain't like, you go ahead and go. I can't do that. You got to be able to keep up with me, because I be out and about. I be doing stuff. And so, the timeline is a myth, because you don't want society or even family members to put on their timeline and their pressure. You have to think about society's timeline and real life. Yeah. Things happen. I couldn't have gotten married in my 20s because I did so much in my 20s. I did a lot of traveling in my 20s. And it's only increased. I can't even imagine myself being locked down at 20 in my 20s with kids and a husband. I just couldn't see it. And so we have some points that we want to share with y'all. One that I want to share is you have to be able to date when you're in your 40s, dating after your 40s. You're dating from experience, right? Not pressure. Right. You're dating because you've experienced life. You've experienced some dating. And now, like we said, you know what your non-negotiables are. You know what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate. You understand that this is a person. I like this person. Right. Like, this is my friend. It's not some, he's the next hot thing. Let me just be with him because he's the next hot thing and everybody else want him. No, you're dating from experience. So I think you're really able to go through, not really a list, but you're able to go through your Rolodex of experience and be like, yeah, I saw it. I remember that. I've dated this person before. Yeah, I'm good. And so that was one of the tips that I wanted to share.
Good. One that I will share is, maturity. Just because chronologically we match in age, it doesn't mean mentally. Okay. Like you're like, I need some stimulating. Like, are you stimulating? Is there some intelligence? And I'm not saying based on education. I'm just saying, can we hold a conversation? Can we hold a conversation about different topics? And that's, embracing your maturity. Like, is this person mature enough? Does this person match your maturity? Yeah. Because if you have somebody who's childish, they don't know how to have, a conversation. What's going to happen when you have those heated conversations?
Because I done seen some childish 40-something-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean?
How old are you?
Yeah. And so it's just, embracing, hey, do they match my maturity?
Right? That's a good one. That's a good one.
I like that one. That's really what I'm looking for.
I think me too, coming healed. Like, do your work.
Absolutely.
Right? Do your work to fully heal from whatever past relationships, whether that's family relationships, friendship, work relationships, whatever relationships that you have that you need to heal from. Yeah. I need you to come healed, because my thing is, I'm going to work on me.
I did my work.
I don't need you coming, and now I feel like I have to help you work on you. I need you to work on you. Come healed. I don't got time to heal you.
Because didn't K. Michelle say it best?
What she said?
Can't raise a man.
I'm not raising no man.
We're not doing that.
So I need
We're not doing that.
I need a man that's going to come. And for me, I think that my brother said that, he said, my little sister like me, she love him and leave him. And I'll be like, why you say that? He said, because you just don't stick around for nonsense. Cute don't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of other things
looks fade
that
away.
I needed that I wasn't getting. So if you're coming broken, be healed. In your 40s, we want someone who's going to come healed, because it's not, you're bringing all this trauma and expect me to help you heal your trauma. I can't do that, because I'm still working through and healing doing the things I need to do to heal my own trauma. I think if you come healed, that helps better your relationship, because now we can talk through our situations versus argue through them. Because one thing I'm not doing in a relationship, I'm not arguing. I'll be like, okay, I'll call you back. I talk to you when I talk to you when you are cooled down. I'm not.
Yeah, and I think, just in addition to the myth that we're talking about, another myth, personally, as someone who's been married and divorced, is like, well, what do they call it? Damaged goods, or baggage or whatever. Like, it's hard to date someone who's been married before, or who was in a long-term relationship. The things that we're looking for in a partner, right? We're just not going out there dating any type of Joe, and just having that peace you know, and having that contentment, right, with who we are and knowing who we are as daughters of God and things like that. You know, we hold on to that. That helps sustain us, right?
Yeah.
And you know, He'll keep you if you want to be kept.
Right.
You know, and they be like, it's hard out there. And, you know, sexual relationships, you know, before marriage and things like that. And it's like, listen, if you want a thing, you can do it. And we talked about habits, right? You know, how to make how to break a habit, you know, how to make a habit. And it's those things, you know, even in the dating realm with those expectations and those standards and those goals that you have is, you know, don't let them fall to the wayside just because you want somebody.
Right. So. And also just knowing that if you're in your 40s and you're single, the myth of you're behind. You're not behind. Mm-hmm. Being single does not mean you are behind in anything. Because I heard somebody say, married people want to be single and single people want to be married.
I've heard that saying.
So it's like, you're not behind.
At times.
You know, you're not behind. And so life is not a race. I think we talked about that before. Yeah. You know, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you really have to just allow yourself to go through the different changes of you. Because who I dated in my 20s, I'm not the same Tamika that I was in my 20s that I would be now in my 40s. Being in a relationship or not being in a relationship or being married and not being doesn't determine your it doesn't determine your worth. You have to know who you are. And I think that's what really, not just in addition to my faith, but what has really kept me is me knowing who I am. You know, seeing how our mom, you know, our mom hasn't been married since I was 3 years old. That's what, 41 years? What, 3? I was 3, right?
Yeah, you were.
And when you ask her, she be like, Jesus is my man. But she has been so content. That may not be for everybody.
And I was going to say, and that was her preference.
That's her preference. I'm just like, God, whatever you have for me is going to come and I'm going to know.
Yeah.
And so while I'm in my 40s, you know, I'm just waiting. Waiting with purpose.
Yeah.
Waiting well. Waiting and serving. Waiting because the myth is, oh, you might as well don't even think about it.
No.
Don't even think about it. You 40.
It's going to happen.
Baby, y'all going to look at me and be like, where'd that come from? And I'm be like, I told you I was waiting well.
Yeah. You know, we're trying to think of topics and conversations to have as far as maybe what we need to share with you, but we need to hear from you. We're going to share some of those nuggets that you may want to know. You know, tell us your experience and say, you know, hey, how would you have handled this? And so that's what we want to do. Like, we want to hear from you while we're sharing our experiences. We also want this to be a platform where we really have that connection with our listeners and with our viewers to really see what it is that you want from us.
Right? Now, we done said this like 3 times. This is the last time we're going to say that.
We've said it.
This is the last time because we've asked for engagement. We love y'all. We know y'all are reaching out to
Here go the educator. Here go the educator.
We done told y'all 3 times. I need y'all to pay attention to the assignment. I need y'all to pay attention to the assignment, okay? So, yeah, you know, we do want to know how many of our viewers, our subscribers, are in their 40s.
Yeah.
And are dating or not dating. What has your experience been? Do you use dating apps? What are you doing? We want to know because, you know, we are a community. Again, I say it all the time. We all we got. So we a community, so sharing is caring.
Yeah.
And so we just want to hear from y'all as well. Like, you know, what has your experience been if you are over in your 40s or over?
Yeah.
What has your experience? We'll even hear from your late 30s. Like, what has your experience been with dating? Has it been good? What are some tips that you may share? You know, some of y'all may have started dating in y'all late 30s or early 40s or over and may have gotten engaged and married. We want to know, like, how did that work out? What did you do? You know what I mean? Everything ain't for everybody. But we know we got some viewers on there that may be in, you know, Kimberly's shoes, may have been married before and now they're divorced. Now they're trying to figure that out. Or maybe in my shoes, never been married.
Right.
And so still dating, still trying to figure out, you know, who is my person? Where is my person? Yeah. Or you may just barely be trusting God, be like, oh, I'm built for the single life. I just know that's not for me. And so we want to hear from y'all. We hope that you find something in this episode that you can relate to, but also that allows you to share. You know, I know when you share something, it is open and it is public, but we're here for each other. And so we're just trying to share information back and forth so we can continue to work on this platform, continue to share information, continue to bring you topics that I know y'all want to talk about, but y'all probably have not had anyone to actually bring it out and be real, that are actually living the experience, right? We ask that you like this video, subscribe.
Yes.
Share it with a friend.
Follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram and TikTok.
Yes, we're on all those things.
Yes.
And, again, we thank you for allowing our special guest, who is in the background making a lot of noise, but it seems like she's about to wake up now, so we're going to go ahead and close out. So until next time, bye!